Hello. So this is going to be just me talking. This is my first time back on YouTube in a long time. Uh, you're probably seeing this on an earrape channel. Crazy enough. Yeah, that was from let's say middle school. I've already graduated high school now. If there's any followers left on here, I've graduated high school. I should be a sophomore in college right now, but I'm a freshman. Um, and yeah, I felt like it would be interesting to continue my journey as a YouTuber, but that's not really what I'm here for. I kind of wanted to. I actually saw a video right now on on YouTube. This guy named MilkSafari, random. It it was just him talking over MS Paint, right? And he's just doing his own thing, right, on MS Paint. And essentially, what I wanted to do was get on here and just edit my photos, because over the time that we last saw each other, since I've done Hey Panini Ear Rape, I've actually become a photographer. Cool enough. I do other things too, but I guess I have a couple of photos that I want to edit with you guys and share with you. And I also thought I could share with you other images. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I hope you guys enjoy. And I'm not really saying bye because I'm just going to keep talking about other things. First topic, where do I think my life is heading? It's very simple for me to say that I'll become an established photographer and I'll make many cool things for many people to recognize and see and relate to. I guess I can kind of start with why I want to be a photographer. It kind of started in high school as I was doing a video production class. That was my introduction to a camera. They were just regular DSLRs. We just make short videos and it was cool. I mean, that was my first real experience with just like making something and having a vision and creating it, you know. And time goes by. I am no longer creating things. I'm no longer in a video production class. And I realize I don't like the actual video production, but I do like having a camera in my hand. And I do love capturing moments. And whoop-de-doo, Mikey found out about the culture of photography. Super cool. This is where my journey began. I've always been a Sony, because my mom, she had a Sony camera that she bought. It was an A6000. It just had a shitty kit lens on it, but when I really took it serious, I thought the camera was decent. I really had no clue what I was doing with the camera. I bought like a $400 lens, just a 35mm Sony prime lens. Not that great. Uh, it is great, but I got some good images off of that in my first like years of photography. There's two images that come to mind when I think of it, and it's poof, that image on the screen. It's three people walking. She's holding an umbrella, black and white, and it's at an aerial view, which makes the image interesting. And this was one of my first images that I was really proud of. Another image that comes to mind is poof, this image. It is the image of a dude who I was taking a photo of. He walked past twice, so almost like he wanted to get a photo taken of him, right? It was funny. He threw a peace sign up and it just created an image. It was a lot of editing. It was very heavily edited. I kind of steer away from editing that hard now, but it's definitely one of my favorites. It's almost like you look at him as if he's like a hero of something or of some sorts, right? Because centered in the frame, just this guy with vibrant colors on. It's awesome. But time goes by. I pick up a film camera now, actually, and I thought this is where I was gonna stick. A film camera seemed like the only option to me. There was a bunch of people that I knew just like on the internet just making videos about their day-to-day basis, or just like street photographers or actual portrait photographers that are still using film. And I was like, that's awesome. It's very unique in its own sense, and I instantly went and picked one up. A Nikon FE2, if any of you guys are curious. I picked that up for $200. Not the greatest investment I've ever made, but it's definitely one of my favorite things to do. I don't really have that many amazing images from it. I do, actually. There's a couple. I'll put them up on the screen if I have any. But it was cool until I took a digital photography class, and I was like, oh, it's been a couple of months since I picked up my A6000, right? So I didn't see a point for digital photography anymore. Um, it was crazy. I picked it up, went to class for the first time ever, and I I I seriously didn't know what the sense or what a mirrorless camera is. I literally have a mirrorless camera in my hand, and I didn't know what it was. And my teacher asked me, "Is that a mirrorless camera?" And I'm like, "No, no, not at all, dude. I don't know what you're talking about." And I finally learned what it is, and he's like, "Bro, you lied to me." And I'm like, I never knew, dude." And that's like a trend in my life sometimes. You just want to act like you know, right? Because no, not knowing is such a big fear to me sometimes. But I've worked at it, and I know now that not knowing is better than knowing, which seems like common sense. But yeah, I and that kind of ties into this story as well, because I didn't know that a mirrorless camera or just a digital camera would be just as great as a film camera. In general, I didn't see the purpose to a digital camera. It felt boring to pick up. And photography so far to me has just been following a feeling, right? Um, Fast forward, I realized the camera doesn't even matter at all. If the camera didn't matter, then why did I go out and buy a $2,000 camera? I bought an A7 IV. Crazy investment, but I've gotten some of my favorite images out of this thing that I can imagine. I even went out and I bought a telephoto lens, a 24 to 70, a 2.8 $1,000 lens. My favorite ever. My favorite ever. Yeah, I just figured out that actually a digital camera was what I wanted to do. You have so much freedom with it, whereas this Nikon that I have sitting next to me, the film camera, the feeling that I was shooting with didn't really matter, because no matter what's in my hand, it's about what I'm taking a photo of or what I'm trying to capture, you know, or the feeling I'm trying to capture. It's not about how I feel picking up that camera. And it took me a while for me to realize that, but it was very cool when I finished this class, and I soaked in all the knowledge. I was just so ready to just go to fucking LA and just like make it out and Fast forward a little bit, I'm in LA right now. Just fucking kidding. But I am like a real photographer now, a capturer of life, and I'm working on projects. And I think what you're seeing right now is Seattle, right? You probably want me to explain these images a little bit more. So sorry about the whole backstory, but we'll go over these images really quick. So first of all, we saw plane pictures. Obviously, that's just awesome, right? You don't really get to be 10,000 feet in the air, so it's better to take a picture than not take a picture, you know? And you kind of learn that a lot of times. Sometimes you miss the picture because you didn't think it was worth it, but like some people don't get on a plane and they just start taking pictures, right? They just want to go to sleep, but not every day you're 10,000 feet in the sky. So that was my thought process on the plane. We had went to Seattle, like I said, Magnolia, actually. So we get an Airbnb, little cozy crib. The house we got was cool. I don't think it was what I expected though. I thought I bought an entire house. I really was trying to get out and like play house and just like get away from Arizona. But the next couple images that you see, they're just me walking around the town, and these are very late into the trip. I didn't really touch the camera all that much, but there were glimpses of really good images that I liked. Specifically, it was towards the end of the trip. I got this one of this lady in an all pink outfit just in the middle of the road. I held my camera all the way up above my head and just took that image. What concerned me though was how high my ISO was, but when you have an expensive camera, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Um, Other images, like the lady waiting at the crosswalk with her dog, it's it's awesome. It's almost like you see a little bit of her and the dog, like they're both kind of short, and I thought that was really funny. And they're both patiently like waiting at this crosswalk. Like both of them reflect their attitudes very equally. It's very interesting to look at. Uh, we have other images. I did my best attempt at making the the like street photographer like cliche image of like the blurriest background possible of just a singular person, and it was well executed, but it's just so funny because I would never take one of those images ever again. Like I look at it now and I'm just like, that's just so not interesting at all. But I guess this can also be a segue into what I want to capture. I I look at other people's art and I kind of think to myself, what do I want to do? When I was in class, there was certain people with their niches. This kid named I guess we won't get specific, but this kid named uh Adobe Premiere. Adobe Premiere was a very, very basic portrait photographer, but his work wasn't necessarily creative to me, and I guess that's why I don't necessarily envy it as much as I would the kids who were not experienced with their camera creating an idea, you know? And this kid had the most perfect portrait pictures ever, and his critiques on other people's images would just be so brutal. And I think in that analysis of him, I kind of realized I don't want to be a commercial photographer because art is what I want to do. I had a really deep conversation with myself about whether this was for money or this was for myself. And in a sense, it's both, but I want this to be for myself. And thinking about myself becoming just a portrait photographer or a street photographer. And not to say that any of these don't have a creative flair to them, but they definitely do if you're doing it in the correct way. But I'm just talking about at the very root of it, a portrait photographer is just capturing someone's face and their expression. And it's kind of 2D in an art sense, at least sometimes, at a very advanced level of portrait photography, you can get into uh, abstractions and body is form and things like that, which is very cool. But I'm just trying to say, for the example now, I just don't want to be a commercial photographer. I want to pursue a life where I'm creating something that's new and like refreshing to me. Um, I'll throw a couple of images up of what I've recently done, and hopefully these kind of set a tone for what I kind of want to do. The first one would be Exit. This one is somewhat contemporary, uh, just because of the abstractions and the structure of the parking garage. It's actually two images that I placed perfectly together to make it look as though the parking structure is just weird looking. And then obviously you have the one lady with her bright yellow purse walking to the exit. It's up for interpretation. I can say that. Um, but I kind of seen it as this lady with her head down. She's having a hard time making this change, right? And she's exiting a part of her life, right? And she's taking with her a valuable, the bright yellow purse. And that kind of, in a way, represents me with my camera exiting this chapter of my life. And it's very depressing to think about. Um, the uncertainty of not knowing where you're taking this exit to, or where you're making this change, or how you're making this change is just it's depressing. So that's the point of the image. It's a self-reflection of my state right now, which is cool. And this is kind of the work that I want to make. Like, as most photographers would want to do, they want to reflect themselves in their art and want to be seen and heard. Uh, that's exactly what I want. And I want my unique perspectives to be seen. But this video's gone on very long. I don't know how interesting this first video will be, but I hope you guys have liked what you've seen at least. Um, Moral of the story, I want to be a contemporary photographer. I want to make fine art. I want other people to think my stuff is cool. And I want other people to relate to it. Or just to interpret or just to look at it. It's hard enough being in Arizona where most of the photographers aren't necessarily here to make art. They're just commercial photographers and they're making money off of it. And it's $100 per shoe and it's Christmas season, so make sure that you guys take advantage of this discount that I got on my portraits and family photos that are Christmas themed, that I bought my $10 late and blah 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 blah. Yeah, I'm just hating, but I just want more out of photography than what I'm seeing now. And I've seen that there's more. I just want to experience that. And I want to take it to another level. So I'll be working on that in the comments down below. Uh, Please let me know how you guys feel. It's been a while. My name is Mikey. Um, I would like to know your guys' names. How you perceive everything that I've said. What are you guys doing with your life? Is it art related? Is it making money? Is it going to school? Is it finding love? Is it self-improvement? Uh, let me know. Let me know if you guys would like to see more of this. Yeah, I'm gonna go edit these photos so that you guys have something to look at. I was also thinking I'll be drawing too. Maybe something I can record just to have almost like because you guys have short goldfish attention spans, right? So I'm gonna put a video of me drawing in the corner as well as my editing. Maybe not. Maybe I'll cut this out. Anyways, bye.